Hello, Doru. Hello, hello. Let me give me a moment. I'm just getting the stream set up. Hello, Last Goblin. Hello, 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 everybody. Okay, let me go get something to drink and then we start. 5 minutes. Why do I keep doing it? Work, AFK, 10 minutes, stream starting, moving around. Um, what did I use to say here before goofing around? Brewing tea. Goofing around is fine. Okay. Hello, Penguin. So, hello, everybody. You can see already what I'm planning to do today, but essentially it's some Zine bug fixing because I've already done some work on this earlier today, this morning, but I think these are the last few things that I want to go through before making the actual release. So, yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Okay, so hey, I noticed a few days ago I saw the plan for of fuzzing, but I assumed you didn't do any fuzz part. Will it be fuzzing on stream in the near future? Um, Yesterday I did briefly fuzz my auto formatter, one of my auto formatters. So are you referring to that, or are you talking about something else? Are you talking about something like yeah, I think you know what? I think I need more context. Okay. So what are we doing? We are uh, uh, maybe a recap of what I've been working on earlier today. I made these changes. This was yesterday night. This was today. So um so now there's a build.development variable that is true when a website is being served by the live server. This way, I mean, you could already kind of tell when that was happening because you could have inspected the root website, like the website URL. It would have been localhost. Hello, foot long cycle. Well, foot long icicle, I should say, I guess. Um, so you could tell already by the URL, the base URL. But well, then you wouldn't be able to tell if you bound the website to something and it's not localhost. At the same time, it was probably good enough, for most people. But in any case, now we have it. It's build.development. Build.development tells you if the build is a development build. Fix the bug. I introduced a field into the front matter named forbid subsections. Forbid subsections will allow you to essentially demand that a given section of the website can only have leaf pages inside of it. It cannot have inside of it a page that then it becomes another subsection. That is important sometimes because if you use something like page.leaves, which is a system that essentially gives you all the terminal pages in a subtree of sections, that with this you can guarantee that people don't create by mistake pages that will not be listed there. I would like you to know if there is any recent/near future fuzzing content. Okay, so what happened is that yesterday, so if you find yesterday's stream, but first let me finish because you might not want to do that anyway. But if you watch like yesterday's stream, I make some changes to the way that auto formatting works in Ziggy, my JSON alternative, um, and in there, I actually I did a bug fix. Most importantly, then I wanted to make sure that it did not regress anything else. So at some point, after I'm done with the changes, I ran the fuzzer for 5 minutes, I believe. Actually, I think I did some of that also before. I did that yesterday, and I think I did it. Oh, but was it on stream? I think the previous time was not on stream. But in any case, every time I've been touching the auto formatter, since it's easy to break something, what I've done is run the fuzzer for a while afterwards, and the length was depending on how intrusive was the change that I made. That being said, I don't think it's particularly interesting content specifically from the perspective of fuzzing, because the majority of the fuzzing infrastructure was already there. But here's what it might be interesting for. If you want to try your hand at fuzzing, I have a library named Zig AFL Kit. It's on my GitHub account. Zine depends on it. That's I mentioned that. Sorry, Ziggy. Well, Zine as well, I think, but certainly Ziggy does. So if you look at my zone file, I have it in here, and it might not be immediately obvious how to use AFL. It's not that complicated, right? It's maybe some work. So if you're curious to see how it feels to run on one of these things, you can watch my stream from yesterday, so you can see what the invocation looks like, and then you can try to run it on this project, and you will see that in the stream, at some point I purposely add a bug in the formatter just to see if the AFL kit would catch it, and it did. So I guess my point is that there's that value, but other than that, yeah, no, it's not super high quality, high value fuzzing content. Will there be fuzzing content in the future? Totally, yeah, for sure. I mean, I need to fuzz my stuff in general, but also, the streams where we talk about fuzzing, maybe look at the fuzzing tooling that Zig has, which is currently not yet ready for the prime time, but soon, hopefully. That will definitely happen. But I don't know when. I would say chances are after the summer. Hey, Alcras, have you finally fixed the WC3 issue? Which one is the WC3 issue? I don't remember. I haven't touched Super HTML now for a bit. Oh, okay. So like the software we love. Oh, you can love. Oh, okay. So you're saying that my website has an H1 into an H3, but it's probably this, isn't it? Yeah. I have to say, I have to say, I don't have a lot of respect for this stuff. I think that I don't know. I really have this nagging feeling that this is just that ultimately this makes no difference to anybody. I might be wrong though. I have this belief, I have this suspicion, but I would be willing at some point to be is accessibility maybe, but like why exactly, like what exactly is the software that has trouble. And I don't know, you know what, the truth is I don't know. It might very well be the case. It's just that I don't know for sure. But let me put it this way: what I do think is that what I'm expecting is that accessibility software should like learn how to cope with this situation. I have the feeling that this is more of a, how can I say? Oh no, yeah, no, I believe I think that that is totally fair. That is for sure. For sure. I'm not surprised that they complain. I'm not surprised that they complain. Uh they mark this as an error, but this is not in the spec. I I believe that the spec does not state, oh, with a computed level 3. So you know what? This might be in the spec, but it might be in the runtime spec, not in the parsing spec, like in the DOM spec. I don't know. Okay, what would be the correct element for a text that is kind of a secondary title, but it's not an H2, because an H2 would be, to me this is an H2. No, 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 no. This is an H2. Like an H2, so this shouldn't be an H then. It should be a div? What should it be? I guess it should be a div. I don't know though. It's also titled, no, it would not be a pre. A pre elements are elements that have like where white space and new lines inside are rendered visually, unlike the rest of HTML where a new line doesn't render to anything. um I don't know, it's fine. Okay, let's go fix these things. So here's the next problem. The next problem is that a while ago I introduced a while ago, I added this: stop defaulting to adding target blank to an inline link syntax. The consumer application is now in charge of deciding how to interpret the default value. The problem is we're not telling the consumer that this is an external link. And that is bad. That is bad. An H group. Ah, you're right. Yeah, an H group would probably be the right thing, wouldn't it? And then I would need to style a paragraph in an age group. Maybe instead of a P, it would be a span. I don't know. Hmm. No, maybe you're right. It is a P. Yeah, an H group with an H1 and a P would be the right thing. God damn it, man. HTML, huh? Yeah, it's annoying, but I think you hit the nail on the head. That is probably what the system wants you to do. Okay, so here's the problem here. Essentially, by not having this notation anymore, now we lost information that um now we lost information that you know what though. Yeah, this has another problem though. That means that you can't style the H1. Like you need to well, god damn it, man. I don't know. This is still a jank solution. Goddamn HTML authors. Sorry, I'll stop ranting about this. Okay, so we deleted these lines, which stops forcing the fact that we put target blank on external links. The problem is now we forgot that this was in origin an external link, that we evaluated it to be an external link. We lose this data in that was computed originally in the Markdown parser and interpreter, and now Zin doesn't know that anymore, and so it does it need to recompute these things? It does, because I think that everything will be source once we reach Zine. Let me double check this. Once we reach Zine, yeah, there we go. Yeah, look at this stupid thing that I wrote without realizing. If the link says that it is new, or that we want to do auto target blank, then we do this. While I think it's the opposite. What we should do is tell the parser that we want to parse with these auto target blank on, and then we still do it only off of links. Yeah, that's the solution. If link is new or else false, put this. And then in page parse, here, ASD init CMark. What the heck is CMark? A super MD ASD init wants a preset CMark parser. Okay. I Why did they make it this way? I mean, I probably had my reasons. Oh, I guess because they can be reused. Right, it's a stupid C resource that we don't control and that can be reutilized. Okay. So there we go. So let's have settings in here, options. Auto target blank. So now we get options. and pass them to the parser. And in the parser, I think it's actually here where we had the lines that I deleted. Um, yeah, it was lines, what, 549. It was here in this area. The dollar sign, pound sign, slash. That was the else branch. It was this guy. Yeah. So we recognize as external links, links that have this and links that have mail too. So these guys had new equals true. But we can do dot new. Oh, this is interesting. New is not just a boolean; it's an optional boolean. So there is null, true, and false. Right. The problem is we could avoid the change that I'm making and have Zine just look at the link and decide for itself. The problem is that we would essentially be okay. We would be stripping this feature away from Super HTML and then just pull it into Zine. I think this is preferable. Okay, so new, true. There was a second place. Oh, right, up here, mail too. There we go. Okay, so we are instating this, and now let's make it real. New is this. Does any of these have any connection to the fact that it is optional? Are we losing something by doing this? I don't think so. I don't think so. um okay, I think this is essentially it, except that now everywhere that we are calling asc.init is gonna need to have the call site be updated. And that essentially makes new hello Calder. That essentially makes new almost not I think this is fine in this case. Okay, I think this is good. Yeah, this is good. This is definitely the right choice. Let's go Zig build. Test watch. Minimal. Let's go. AST 799. Actually, here's what I can do. I can go to init and I can go to references, and at least we can fix the ones in here. So this is a follow-up comment from a previous commit that removed the default behavior, which can now be toggled at will. Okay. Also, you know what? While we're here, let's fetch Ziggy. Let's update Ziggy. Do we pass test? We do. Hit push. Okay, we're super ND. We're good. Okay. Now in Zine, I think we should have already updated Ziggy. We did not. But now we also want to update Super MD. And now that's where we call, oh, we were already here. And now we need to pass options. Do we have build as itself? We have it as B. Do we not have anything from the build in here? Are you serious? We have the variant. We have progress. I think that is not enough. That is not enough. We need the build. Nice work on the railroad diagrams. Thank you. They look cool, don't they? Full disclosure, that is a algorithm that, like the layouting algorithm, that is not something that I came up with myself. That is something that I essentially, you know, quote unquote stolen, open source stolen from somebody else, the original author, and they are delightful. But yeah, then I added, some serious toolchain improvements around them, and they're cool now. I also pushed some changes where I added support for um, creating multi-line external definitions. So let me see if I can show this. I don't know why Firefox is taking so long to connect. This is entirely Firefox doing this. I don't know why. Unless there's something broken in JavaScript and I'm not recognizing this. Uh, Zig build just in case. No, okay, I have everything. Okay, did I mess up the JavaScript? No, I didn't. It's just decided to, you know, I'll just take my sweet time to connect. There we go. I swear to fucking god, this is Firefox. This is not just me saying this. I remember that Mlag was pointing this out a while ago. But in any case, I added a nice table of contents at the top so that when you open it, you also have a quick reference to navigate to the other ones. But this is my novel contribution. It's the it's the non-terminal box essentially, but this one is multi-line, so it has taller line size and more padding to the border of the box. So in case that you want to write things that would benefit from being a multi-line box thing, which it's a thing. Like if you go to JSON.org, you can see that they do it occasionally. You see they mostly have small stuff. They mostly have small stuff, but then occasionally they whip out the multi-line box. So now we support it as well. Also, look at what's happening here. This is so funny. I never really thought about it much, but it's like these circles are supposed to contain the terminal character, but since none of these things have a visual representation other than being white space, they show up as they're represented as a empty circle, and then they put a comment on the line next to them to say, well, this is supposed to be a space, this is supposed to be a line feed, this is supposed to be a character return and horizontal tab. It's like, this is so dumb, man. Why are you doing it this way? I don't know. Actually, to be fair though, it's tough. Like you have to make sacrifices one way or another when trying to show these things. For example, what did I decide to do? I don't know if I show it here, but in my case, that is a convention that I came up with. Yeah, no, it's not shown here, but in the Ziggy, well, I can go to the Ziggy website because I published the new Ziggy diagrams. So these are the new Ziggy diagrams for Ziggy. And I decided to use regular expression style character class. So I don't know. I find it, to me, this seems comprehensible enough. It does have some downsides though. This is what it looks like once you put everything into these things. To say that everything is except this is the same thing as the JSON one. See, JSON here has any code point except quote or slash or control characters. And here I have printable Unicode, so non-control characters, except, and then it's the class syntax, but it kind of sucks. It's not great. So I don't know. Also here I kept the hex digits, and then I up here I say when I say them explicitly, I say that these are hex digits. Every choice has its own pros and cons, I guess. This though, this seemed very silly to me, like in hindsight. uh, anyway, so I hope they're gonna be helpful to somebody. I didn't make an intro about the railroad diagrams. Cool. Okay. So what are we doing? We need to have these PP. It needs to have. I guess we could pass the option explicitly instead of the whole CFG. Let's do the only option for now. In the future, I'm definitely gonna have to refactor this, but for now, let's not overfit, or let's do what's called Yagni. So let's not add abstractions that we don't need yet. Auto target blank. Do we have CFG in here? We do. Okay, and this should be it, or should it? It should, right? Oh, and I never fixed the page part. Right. Mm, come on, man. What am I messing up? Oh, that there is index parse also. Right, because we call page parse also elsewhere. I will do it in line invariant. Line 140. Oh, of course, when we activate the section, we do parse the page. Indeed, indeed. Oh no, we don't have this information here either. Well, that sucks. Uh, this might be a good moment to pass all of CFG around at this point. I think drafts should go here. And before it, there should be CFG. config. Okay, let's go fix this. There we go. Oh, I see why C mark was considered something goes before. I see. Well, such is life. Although we could move it here. I think this is fine. Nothing named auto blank in blah 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 route 912. Yeah, there we go. Section activate expected seek arguments found 5. Correct. There was also that section activate wants CFG now and drafts, which we moved up. I don't think there are a lot of calls to a function to an activate function. So yeah. So that means that that goes up and that goes up ap dot pfg. Oh, I see why these are suffixes here, but it's fine. Okay, they should really be it. We should really be at the end now. Or not. Page parse, expected 7 arguments, found 8. Oh, did I not delete something from page parse? Oh no, that is in work here. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, this needed to be deleted, of course. Okay. Okay, this is really it now. Okay. So there's that. Zig build test. There's an extra new line. One of the things that prints one of the things that prints error messages is adding hmm should these errors have new lines between them, or should they not have new lines between them? I think that extra separation between these errors and other pages is good, but I think that maybe having these errors be one attached to the other is not a bad idea. So these errors should not print a new line. That is a change that I have indeed added somewhere in the error printing code. And I'm not sure I want to keep it. So this is probably in root and it's in page analysis. Although, no, wait. If this is in page analysis, then it's probably one of these guys. There is no function format in page. Then where is this coming from? So it's really so they don't have format. They just have explicit code in here then. So I guess this we want to change. This we want to change. Although that does not affect the previous errors, it's gonna change some other files though. It's these guys? No. It's these guys. Unable to parse date. No, it's page analysis, I think, that I should be looking at. The problem is Ziggy errors, parsed. There's these guys. Layout. And then after layout, there should be this. Oh man. Oh, that I think this is it. Maybe. I will say this. My error printing code is all over the place because it has been created over the time that I've been doing Zine. And over time, I've learned, like, my understanding of how to do error reporting has changed dramatically. And I have not gone back and systematically improved everything else, which has caused inconsistencies. So let's see what happened with this. Maybe I take this back. Maybe these errors should have a new line between them. They are very dense. Yeah, without new lines, they are too dense. So okay, new line it is, but there is one of them that has too many new lines. Maybe. Oh, I guess you don't need an extra new line between pages now that they are separate enough. So where would we have this? I think I have a vague memory of adding a new line if there was any error at some point. This. That is not it. That is not what's causing this. Wrong syntax, missing token comma after field value. Okay, so this is a front matter parsing error report. So that means that this is here. Oh, it's not in my code, maybe. Or you know what? It is kind of. Okay, I think what's happening is previously Ziggy was missing some important new lines at the end of the error message. I added them, and so I inadvertently in the past, I've added a new line to compensate here. And now there is no point anymore. Okay, so this is it. To double check, update Ziggy, update SuperMD, pass around this setting, and that's it. Let's test this on a website. Auto target blank true. Missing page asset. Uh, that is fair. That is because I marked with the index page. Okay, so here's how we do it. Okay, is this a target blank link? This should be a target blank link. That is indeed a target blank link. But then devlog should not be a target blank link. Hello? It is not. Okay. Yeah, this works as intended. So cool. Okay, so this is fixed. That is cool. I think another thing that we want to do is have install schemas, install the Zin schema, even if it's unable to parse the config. I think that's reasonable. Okay, I'm actually excited to now try one of the new Zine features in Zig.day. So I'm gonna try this locally. I'm not gonna push the changes yet because I cannot update Zig.day to a new Zine.day. Oh my god, Zig! I cannot update Zig.day to a new version of Zine until I have released it, because otherwise the website would break. And then there's also the other contributors who might not be, like the other organizers who might not be building Zine from source. And like I shouldn't be make their life miserable. So I'll wait, but I want to test this locally to see how it is. So yeah, give me a second. I'll get something to drink and then we continue this work. Also, this is done. We're now here. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see how this works. In 0-day, I have I'm using page leaves. There we go, page leaves. And I'm doing this on holy shit, we're doing this on the root. Okay, so what it is that we know? We know that these big sections like Europe, Japan, and company, they are meant to have a subsection, but the cities, they don't. So these guys, actually, these guys are fine. Um, special is one of those. So forbid, um, subsections. I also need to update the schema. Oh, right. Right. I would need to update this as well. Uh, wait, so Zin does not run either. Okay, so that's consistent. That's fair. There we go. Install schema, that worked. Then, as I was saying, these guys, the special is one of those, but the other ones are not. How long before you adopt AI? How to complete? I don't know, man. Actually, maybe this is meant to be here. Why not? I think this is fine. Oops. Okay. Okay, and now this runs right away. So we didn't have any other nested page. Well, I mean, yeah, we can actually see it here in the autocomplete. Okay, so nobody had created um, pages made in the other style. Let's add one as a test. I'm gonna go into Europe, Milan, and then I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna copy 5 into 6, and then 6. It's gonna have its own index, and in here, let's put a future date, just so that it's a thing, and then Zin, and there we go. We do get the error. Content Milan 6 index SMD error. The parent section forbids subsections. Note, you can preserve the same URL by moving this page to Content Europe Milan 6 SMD. The parent section is Content Europe Milan index SMD. This is usually done to guarantee that page that leaves correctly returns all pages in the parent section. Yeah, this error is beautiful. This error is beautiful. Perfect. Okay, let me remove 6. And I mean, we can exit here. I'm not going to make any change. I'm not going to commit or push anything at this moment. It was just a test. Okay, so what we're going to do next. We said we want to install schemas to always install the Ziggin.ziggy schema. That should help people with their upgrade process. So yeah, we definitely want to do that. So for this, we want to go in I guess it's everything in root.zig because in root we have the config definition. I think we also have the code for loading it. Is this also the thing that is this the thing that also prints the error? Yes, it is. You know what? I think I should swap these two around. First, I should say what the site requires, and then what you have. Since we first talk about what the site has. Yeah, this is better. Okay, we can improve these suggestions. So let's do it this way. What's blocking Zin build on latest Zig? I just have not attempted to update it yet to latest Zig. I don't think there is any big problem. There might be like it might fail to build because you know something has changed, and either Zin itself or one of the dependencies needs probably it needs it either changes you know in some of their usage of this in the library or something in the build script. But that's kind of it. I don't think there's anything more than that. Last time I checked something in Arrow broke. Oh, well, in that sense, that was well. So it might be this. Okay, I don't know when last how long ago was your last time. But if your last time was like, you know, months ago, then yes, something had regressed in Arrow. And I've been unable to build with 0.17 for a while, but that is all gone. I am using 0.17 right now. It's just, you know, 0.17 dev. It's just not it's like a month or two old. So it's not the very tip of Master Branch, but it's, you know, somewhere near the top. There's that. But if you tried now, like if you tried, I don't know, like a few days ago, and you saw errors in Arrow, that's because we are depending ourselves on Translate C. And I actually have this fork of Translate C that not only is not the official one, it's a fork where I manually updated a version of Arrow earlier. So the point is, it might very well be that this dependency needs to be switched back to the official one and updated, and that's probably it. But it is still a dependency, so it's in a sense compatible with what I was saying earlier, that a dependency might need updating. And Translate C and Arrow are dependencies; they are not coming from the Z compiler. You know what? I'm actually taking this back because do you want to install schema to install a schema to change the schema if the version does not match? I don't think you want that. You know what? I'm taking this all back. I need to think this through more if I want to change it. I'm not confident in wanting to do this change anymore. So, taking it back. What is the font used? Fiera code? Something very standard. I'd love not to have to juggle two 0.17s. Yeah, I feel you. If you want my recommendation, take a look at Zig Up by Johnny Marler or any Zig. I have Zig Up. I don't use any Zig. I think that any Zig is a perfectly legitimate way of going at it. I just personally not like it. Any Zig is cool. What any Zig does is essentially whenever you enter a project directory, it looks at the zone file and it loads. Well, when you run Zig, it will make sure to run the version of Zig that matches what you have in your zone file. It's, you know, like Zig Up, you can do Zig Up and then give it a version to download and swap sim links to whatever version you decide. So you're doing this work manually. AnyZig does it automatically when you enter a directory that has a zone file. So if you use any of these, it's not that bad. I guess especially AnyZig. But yeah, that's fair. I mean, regardless, I totally need to update Zine. Last thing though that I will say is you generally should not be using unstable Zine. Be aware that I don't support I don't endorse using unstable Zine. No, you can, but you know, be aware. I reserve the right to mess up master branch, well, main branch. Case in point, main branch has been a bit messed up. Oh, I swapped them around. Yeah, so that's actually a good change. out of date things are not for me. Yeah, no, that's fair. Zig is good though, precisely for when you have to deal with other people's projects. Like to show you an example, um, I use Flow, and I occasionally pull to get the latest fancy shit from Neurosite. What's in the log? Let's see. Support for Flow's own 4-value range file links. Holy shit, it supports 4-value ranges? That's cool, because I could provide those in my tooling. I don't, because I've never seen people do that. But if that's a thing, holy shit, I'm adding this. Let's see, if I name column. LSP offsets are in bytes, not columns. Wait, no, that's not true. That's not exactly true. They are in code points, man. Oh no. They are in code points. Okay, in any case, latest and greatest, right? So Zig up 0.16.0. Zig build. And then I'm gonna switch back. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. I could have made the connection, but it's never. Thank you for pointing this out. It's I can never tell for sure, and so thank you. For value range, yeah, when at least that's my understanding. I just read that commit message. I think I understood it. I might be wrong, but my understanding is, how there is usually an error line where you have the file, then line, then column. But that's just one coordinate. That's not a selection. So if instead you were able to specify also a end line and column, then the editor would be able to not only move the cursor around, but also pre-select what the error was pointing to. So that's the idea. Okay, with this, I'm left with the table of contents stuff. That's gnarly stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this now. That is really gnarly stuff. Also, anybody interested in Zine, reminder that there's the Zine forum. If you go to the Zine website, there's a link to the forum. I'm moving away from Discord. All Zine discussion is going to the forum, so that also, well, not only does stuff not get stuck in Discord, but also when people ask for help doing things, they can more easily find previous answers. And also, a static site generator is not just for Zig developers. Like Zine is not just for Zig developers. So people should be able to join a community dedicated to it that is not necessarily a Discord dedicated to another programming language that they don't even care about, maybe. So there's this. Next thing that we do is Let's take a look on GitHub at the PR, I guess. I really fear that this might require more deliberation than what I can do on stream. Also, okay, why is RCI failing on Linux? Why is it failing? Because they're not sorted. Fuck. Yeah, that is fair. But also, no, it's not fair. Shouldn't we be sorting this? Oh. You know what it might be? Are we not sorting them? Are we not sorting these pages before running, before printing them in debug, in the debug command? So I think I might need to make my, some of my snapshot tests slightly more reliable. So I know that I have a thing to sort pages in debug mode. Not you, not you, you. Every time we write down a section, we sort the page names. So why are we landing with inconsistencies in CI? Well, is this code busted in the MI for whatever reason, like sorting pages that have all the same name or something? Hey, said UAD run. Thank you for the prime sub. Sorry, not prime sub. Thank you for the genuine sub. Holy shit. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have enjoyed watching me stare at error messages being confused. That's how I would recap most of my streams. So here's what's going on. When you load pages from the disk, you don't get them always in the same order. You get them in whatever random order the file system finds convenient. That is not a problem in Zine normally because pages are sorted by date and then alphabetically, and then like you usually like this randomness gets sorted out. But there are some how can I say? But there are some. There's a command called debug that allows that I use for essentially having a snapshot test of what happens when a build is loaded, and what is happening in there is that I believe this command is run earlier than when things get sorted, for real. And so here we have, or actually, no, I think it's not even that. I think it might have to do also with something else, maybe something relative to fuzz testing. I don't know. In any case, at some point I added this thing to essentially um, avoid the situation where stuff renders differently depending on file system ordering when the debug command. And I have it like this. Like if built-in mode is, if we are building in debug mode, then we do this extra sorting. Otherwise, we don't do it. Now, it seems that, and this has been fine for a long time, but it seems that some inconsistencies are back. Because now you can see that some pages are loaded in a different order than they were before, and then causes the build to fail. By the way, this is all also interesting because this is recent. This is from today. Like I had, you see, I had occasional moments where, yeah, the build would fail because I was fucking around with something. But normally my builds don't fail, so they started failing today. What is it that has changed? What is it that has changed? Okay, so here's one. I'm using a OS base separator in this message that I just made, and that is a mistake. So let's go fix this. Holy shit. I think we want to fix one of the previous commits. No, we make a new commit. It's fine. A bit shameful, but it's fine. That is the error message when there's forbid sections, and that is in page. It's an analysis error. Never mind, it's in root. Okay, so this should have fixed some. This fixes Windows builds. As for what the heck is going on with Linux, that is something new. So for example, this one fails only on Windows, and this one, so this is the one that started causing failures on Linux, where these guys now show up in different order. Which is kind of curious that that's what caused it. Like I only changed the printing message a little bit. Yeah, I removed a new line, and yet this is now causing things to happen in a different order. Not on macOS. On macOS, the order is 132. That's fine. I'm starting to think what it might be. Wanna bet that these pages have all the same date and the same title, maybe? And that's what's causing the problem. Actually, not all of them, right? The ones that have been swapped around. Let's take a look at collisions, page index, and nested path page. So this is called sections. This is called page. This is called who. This is called homepage. Oh no, they have all different titles. They all have different titles. Wait, do they have the same date? They do have the same date though. 767676. 7676. I know that somebody wanted me to do this, so I obliged. Okay, so that means that there is some randomness that still comes through. Despite everything. Hmm. Oh shit. I should have run the build before pushing this commit. I'm dumb. We need to take out the argument, of course. Oops. Here. Okay. So what is it that could be causing things to be out of order? I guess what the question is, when we're running Zig debug, Zine debug, have we gone through the main sorting yet or not? I guess that's the question I want to answer. What does debug do? It runs the full build. So we call the full build, but the build could be interrupted early in case that there are errors. And yeah, we could be returning early. Where is it that we return early in case of errors? Here's the sorting of pages. And this is the early return. Before we wait for contenders to be scanned, we scan the layouts in the directory, blah, blah, blah. This is another sorting that I have for in debug mode. Return out of memory, return build. Okay, we don't have any early return before sorting everything. And yet somehow we end up with a disagreement sorting of things. With a disagreement about how things are sorted. That seems problematic. That seems problematic indeed. So macOS succeeds, of course. Windows is slow, of course. I got a mail that a build just failed, so that means that this UI is not updating, of course. Or maybe I just, oh, maybe I got the message from the previous build, and never mind. I wonder why it is taking so long. Hello, Paco. Hello, hello. Oh, there we go. Linux has failed with the sorting problem. Okay, so now that I look at this a little bit better, these pages are being printed in the same order. Oh, you know what's going on? I think I know what's going on. There is a reason why I never printed. So, by the way, I added these prints just now, and I think that I understand what's going on. There is a reason why I never printed these values in the past, and I guess it's because these values are hard to normalize in for snapshot testing purposes, and so that's why I omitted them. Because the ordering of these pages is the same; they are printed like their name is printed correctly in the right order, but they are not in the same order in the array. So yeah, that's how it works. I never, and now I remember perfectly, I never resort the original pages in the original array. I leave them in the natural order, but then it's other references to them that have that get resorted. So I just cannot print those numbers in the snapshot test. That's it. That's the whole problem. And when I was debugging stuff earlier today, so I was wondering why I was not printing anything else. And the answer is these other values, which seem good to have in the thing. And the reason is because they are misleading. And there's another one. This guy is misleading. That's why I never printed the root index even, because the root index, is a problem in that same sense. I forgot. I forgot that these are values that cannot be printed. Yeah. In the snapshot test. The point is having the snapshot test just be coherent. Okay, test failure. Yeah, because we have changed these things now. Also, let me showcase this new keybind trick that I learned. I mean, I knew how to do it already. I just forgot what the keybind was. So I can go immediately up to the beginning of the output from the last command. And yes, indeed, Yeah, it's just the snapshot tests that have been upgraded. Okay, updated. Okay. Okay. Is there any news about IO ordering in STD IO evented? Is it expected to partially land in 017? There are no news that I know of. It is not a blocker for 017. The only blocker for 017 is, one, that Andrew is going to a couple of conferences now, and he's not going to be able to make the release until he's come back. And the second was uh, making sure that ZLS is not broken so that it can uh, go back into working condition. So as soon as ZLS works again, sorry, it's not ZLS specifically, it's adding into the build system the APIs that ZLS and similar language servers, so not only the ZLS but any other language server, would need to be able to understand what the build graph is. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we onboard our builds. And if we have onboarded our builds, well, you know what? In the meantime, let's briefly take a look at the. So there's a table of content depth parameter thing. But this is the one I think that we should look at first. More clean table of content rendering. Minimum level 6. Does it add any tests? It does. No, bro. Where's the closing LE tag? Where's the closing LE tag? This is technically correct. Like, I believe that the author of this PR did not make the mistake of not closing a tag, you know, because of lack of care in their work. Um, I think that they have designed their algorithm specifically to not have to worry about closing LE tags. The problem is, I don't want this. I want LE tags to close. Okay, so let's see. They went from not needing allocation to needing allocation. They look for heading nodes. only at the top level. I believe that breaks sections. Hmm. But they also use that to detect if what the lowest level of heading, where lowest means numerically lowest, so like h1 is the lowest. They're using that to allow markdown files to render starting at h2. I think this should be a setting in the markdown. I think the markdown should say, like, I don't think we should throw away the single pound sign thing. Huh. So there are a few questions connected to all this stuff. Hey, Janoob, thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody, welcome. So for the people who have just joined, I am working on a static site generator called Zine. This is the homepage. You can go to zinessg.io. And I am working on bug fixing, adding features. There's some minor issues with how table of contents are rendered. I think you can even see an example of this. So, well, this is a table of contents. This one is being rendered correctly, but this one is also good. This one doesn't have any. This one is good. This one is good. Wait, are all pages good? Why was I convinced that one of these guys was broken? Never mind, it's all working. So okay, goodbye in the stream. No, there are bugs for real. I thought I had an example of a unsatisfying table of contents on the official website itself, um, but that's not really the case. Oh well. Okay, so how do we do this? Um, Thank you. Yeah, it's being used by a small number of people, and it has some nice improvements over other static site generators. It's not perfect. I wouldn't say that it's strictly superior to other alternatives, but for what it's going for, it's okay. And if you share my same concerns about other static site generators, or like static site generators in general, then I think you will appreciate this. Yeah, man, they're all okay. I really thought that I had something broken, and yet that is not the case. Okay, so this PR is problematic. introduces allocation. Like, I'm not convinced that these allocations are strictly necessary. Wait. These allocates? These allocates? Oh no, bro. But it's interesting. Despite all of this, nothing else has changed. Wait a second. Uh, what? Okay, I thought that the author was going for something explicitly, but this seems to me. This does not seem it to me. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. So TOC and TOC details, they are two different implementations of the same thing. So if you're changing them to be something different, then yeah. But why change my iteration code? Like, why change a walk to a 3 into a loop into an array? But why heap allocate for this? Why are we heap allocating instead of looping over this? Like, what is the reason? What is the reasoning? Am I looking at AI content? I think this might be a slop PR. I don't know. You can never tell for sure, right? So that's the problem. But well, no, you know what? I don't want to be harsh. I don't know. I really don't know. Doing this style of things where you put the variable here on the outside and then you add a block after it to fill it out. That does not look like slop. But also, why do this? I think this might just be somebody who thought that this was convenient, and that maybe they just don't. Uh, no headings found, output nothing. I mean, if you want to do this, I guess they didn't want to loop through the whole tree twice. Okay, I'm starting to understand the logic. I think the logic is, look, we're looping on an AST, and the AST can be complicated, can be very long. So we collect headings as we find them in the first iteration so that we don't have to iterate on everything again. And so this is the result. But I don't know. So here's how you here's how you can do this in a better way. Okay, if you want to normalize everything to start at a different level, then yeah, you need to do look ahead. You need to first look at all headings and keep track of what is the lowest level that you find. You don't need to accumulate them. There's no point. No accumulation. Minimum level, you can start, you can have a separate boolean if you really want, but another trick is you start minimum level at 7. You start it, or like max int. You start this value at max int. Also, why is it I32? I guess because this is an I32 value. Oh god. Well, in any case, you start this at max value, and then every time you encounter something, you update it with whatever value this thing has, and you know that this thing is not gonna have max int at their as their value. They're gonna have well, numbers between 1 and 6. So or actually it's between 1 and 5. I don't remember what is the how many things you can put maximum. I think it might be 1 and 5, right? 5 sign is probably the max that you can put in a markdown heading. So maybe they were already essentially doing this same trick, except that max int, it's more on the nose. I think it's more obvious than 6. Like here I'm looking at 6, and I'm not sure if it's 5 or 6, the maximum number of the smallest heading that you can make with markdown. So you do that, you use this value, you compare it with max int to early return if that's what you want. But then you don't do the rest of the things. Also, there's a bunch of commented code, and my code is garbo. And yeah, no, this is not how it should be though. Where's my closing LE? Like that's a bad snapshot test. That being said, why shouldn't the markdown why should the markdown not have title headings, like not burn essentially a level of heading? Like, it seems wasteful to me. It seems incredibly wasteful. I think that should be an option. uh, you can actually wrap Zine into an agentic vibe coded vertical B2B sales harness and sell it to local companies, making organic client base for future product growth. Hey, you've stolen my business model, my business plan, and my pitch deck for the VC companies when I decided to go and chase the dream. Okay, give me a sec. I need to look at some messages. Okay, let me take a look at my own code. Okay, so HTML table of contents. Okay, so I'm also looping only over the top level elements, looking for headings at the top level. Interesting. So that does not break sectioning. Um, that makes sense. I guess sectioning is if it has a title, a section, it has a heading. So sorry, yeah, it's attached to a heading element in Markdown. So that makes sense. Okay. Let's see. We find a heading and we ask ourselves, is the new level greater than the old level? If so, if it's not, just print an li. If first item. Okay, we'll see about that. Otherwise, open a ul li. TOC render heading. If the new level is lower than the current level, close the li, and then we close any ul and li to go down. Open the li, render heading. Otherwise, if we are at the same level, render heading. This is more complicated than it has to be. This seems slightly more complicated than it has to be. But okay. TLC render heading. Okay, so we don't care about this function. This is just rendering the heading in case that it is a little bit complicated. Um, are these table of contents really that bad? Like if I look at the ones on the website, do they in source look weird? Because that's what the PR meant to imply, and I think there's a corresponding issue that also makes that statement. Oh no, is this AI? Now everything seems AI. Let's see. The source structure markdown. I hate the idea of forcing markdown files to start at H2. I really hate this idea. Or rather, sorry, to essentially, sorry, have titles be forced to start with pound pound. I think we need a setting for this. Anyway, what else is the problem in here? Li. So right, the problem here is that these things are empty. So I think there are two problems. Right. Okay. I think there are two problems in here that kind of connect, but they're not exactly the same. One is people would like to have their markdown files start at H2. Another one is a level, like a top level could be empty. What do then? Let's repro. Let's make a repro for some of this stuff. So in here, we'll go into the index, I guess. And we have some things. Oh, I'm starting at heading 2 as well in here. I even tell people to do this in the official thing. That's bad. So this looks fine, but now I made it be H1 and H2s. Well, this previously was like this. And this looks weird. Yeah. Yeah, this is an LI with no title. Here's the problem though. There can be holes in the way that people do things. And I don't think it should be the table of contents that fixes these holes. Although it is fair to say that if we should start at heading 2, then it should do better. This is a tough problem to solve. There are a few concerns that like intertwine to cause annoying behavior, but this also requires having a philosophy of how we want to our markdown be used. Um, Out of curiosity, what if we did this? We started level 2 and we ended level 2. How does this render now? Yeah, so this now renders correctly. So either a solution could be that we force people to really follow H1, H2, H3, and they're just not allowed to go deeper than they should. Which, to be clear, you now could do, and it still will result in problems. Like for example, here instead of doing 2, we could do 4 or something. Oh shit! I switched to Emacs mode. How did I? How did I do that? Um. Oh shit. Control P. How do I get to the command palette in Emacs mode? Shit. Oh, I can click on here though. Right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, 4. And if we look at it, it's still borked. But what am I even supposed to do? So I think that this is a problem that should not be solved. The fact that either the heading should return an error. You know what? Maybe this should be an analysis error that we do. Maybe we analyze the page and we say, you know what? You skipped a level and we don't like it. It could be something that we do unconditionally. It could be something that we only do if you're making a table of content. You know what? Let's go for it. Yeah, even though I don't buy that HTML should be necessarily generated with a without jumping levels in the heading style, whatever. I do think that when it comes to markdown and content, regardless of it, thinking about it in separation from HTML, we don't care about HTML specifics, but it is problematic when your content structure is irregular and has jumps like this. And we see this in our inability to make a good table of content, which, by the way, we could compensate for. Like, we could notice that there's a jump, and so we compensate for it. But that's bad. Like, actually, I don't even know how you would compensate for it. But you can maybe find a way of doing it. But it's ass. You shouldn't be have to do this. So I would say that it is semantically wrong for our content file format to allow you to do this. So I think that this should be a hard error. This should be a hard error. And second, we should also allow markdown files to start at heading 2 when rendering them. So it's like render as H2. And maybe we default that to true. Flow is ready to replace Helix. No, not yet. Sorry, Nathan. It works, but the keybinds have some limitations still. Neurosite has promised to look into Helix keybinds soon, so hopefully he will do a nice overhaul to the system and make the Helix mode good. But be aware that if you want to try it now, you will have to accept some jankiness to the keybinds that you wouldn't have in Helix proper. I got used to it, but be aware. That said, it's usable. So like it depends on how much of an early adopter are in your mindset. And lastly, it should eventually be fixed. So there's also that. Okay, I think I'm convinced. The solution for the table of content stuff is to forbid irregularities in the content markup, and I reject the idea that we should throw away single £sign titles so that that combines with correctly with HTML. VS Code control click and mouse back for just reading code. Oh shit. Is control click go to definition? Because I usually use the keybind. I'm used to it. Is it go to definition? It is. Ah, nice. Good job, Neurosite. Yeah. I've never used it myself, but that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And also mouse back, of course. Yeah, I knew about that. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. I'm going to stop the stream here. I'm not going to do the work right now. But the plan is, for fixing the table of content, the plan is we don't fix the table of content. We consider the table of content to be perfect as is, except maybe not rendering an empty UL if there is no content. No, I think I don't like that either. I think that I would like to still render the empty UL. That said, somebody might want to branch on that. They were doing the land thing. The land version 0 thing is neat. Like enabling that trick is, I think it's a neat idea. So, yeah, not rendering the UL when it's empty. I'll take that. Everything else, I'm not gonna accept. And then we change slightly the semantics of Super Markdown. Okay, that is my plan. Decided. So, thank you all for hanging out. If you're interested in Zine, this is a good time to try it out. It's in a pretty decent state. Despite it, all you see is bugs when I'm streaming, but you know that's my job to fix the bugs. The stuff that works, I don't look at much. At least, yeah, most of the time. And as I said, we have a forum, so please, if you have questions, do consider trying out the forum. It's linked on the Zine homepage. Well, on the Zine website, there's a forum link here. I am moving away from Discord, all Zine discussion, and I am slowly preparing to leave Discord. We have been working on a Weibo, right? Our own Discord alternative. It's not ready yet. It's going to take a while before it's ready. But I am starting to, position myself to jump off the Discord ship. So, thank you all for hanging out, and I will see you all next time.